we are going to create a color wheel, but our color wheel isn't going to be just your standard color wheel. It's going to be a more professional color wheel because that's the stage that you're at. What I need for you to do is draw a circle. If you want to trace a circle, you can, but for this assignment, I am not looking at how well you can draw a circle. I'm looking at your colors that you're able to make. Notice that my circle's about the same size as my hand. You could trace like a bowl or a salad plate, or you could just hand draw it like I did. And also remember that I have a template shared in Canvas where you can make this digitally, you can fill it in digitally, or you can print it out. Then I'm going to draw a circle on the middle and then a smaller circle. So it looks like I have a target. Small circle, middle circle, large circle. Let's see if you can get that. And please let me know when you're ready with that so I can show you the next stage. So now I'm still waiting on a few people, but I'm going to go ahead and go. I put a dot in the middle so that I know that's my middle. This is where you could use a ruler or a straight edge, but I'm going to draw a horizontal line there. And I'm going to draw an X and an X. This is actually the hardest part of this because normally, if we were face-to-face, I would just hand this template to you and it would be ready for you to fill in. But you're having to draw your template. Remember, I'm not checking to make sure your lines are straight. I'm going to be checking to make sure you understand color and that your colors are in the correct order. Making sure we're moving and everything is ready. Okay. Now, we need for this, we only have 6 sections now, but we need a total of 12. So we're going to divide these sections in half. The way I remember it is I look at these top 3. I take this one and I draw that in half. I look at this one in the middle and I draw a vertical line. And then I look at that one. You should have 12 sections now and an outside ring, a middle ring, and a center ring. Please raise your hand or tell me ready when you are done with that so that I know we're ready to go. Good. I have 2 people ready. 3, 4. Excellent. Okay. Now, up here at the top, what color is always at the top? Yellow, yes. So I have yellow here, right? Then I have yellow. Then I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. That 4th one, I have red. And then I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and I have blue. So that you have your 3 primaries. What do yellow and red make? What do yellow and red make together? If you mix those 2 colors. Orange, yes, thank you. So I write orange here. What do yellow and blue make? Green. See, I know y'all know this. This was a good review. What do red and blue make? Yes. Okay. Now, this is where the color wheel, because we have our 3 primaries. I'm going to put P with those colors so that I have primary. I'm going to put S for secondary for my other colors. And now I do my intermediate or my tertiary colors. Tertiary, so primary means 1. Secondary means 2. Tertiary means 3. And for my tertiary or intermediate colors, you always list the primary color first. So yellow and green make what color? What color? What do yellow and green make? Yellow, green, yes. So you do yellow, green. The primary color is always listed first. Blue and green make blue, green. Do you see how this works? Blue and violet make blue, violet. Red and violet make red, violet. This is red, orange. It looks like I'm starting to run out of room, but that's okay. And this is yellow, orange. Also, for you to know, you have your warm and your cool colors. So, if I do a diagonal, these are my warm, and these are my cool. And that will be important. So I'm going to leave that there for you. Tell me when you have all your colors labeled. I hope you can see that. Actually, I'm going to do this for you too. I hope, yes, Grace. Let's see if this will work. Let me see if I can add. I thought I took a picture of the color wheel. Let me take another picture of the color wheel real fast, and then you can see this better. I'll send this into the chat. Maybe this will help. Okay. So I have just posted an example, or my example, into the chat. So hopefully you can see that better if this is a little light for you, or blurry for you. Now, all you do is you fill in your color, but we're only going to fill it in on this outer edge first. Because you're going to have your outer edge here, and then we're going to do some color intensity here. So just to get you started, I'm not going to do all of them right now because I want to explain these 2 layers. I'm going to use crayons. You can use any material that you would like. You can see this is colored pencil. This is crayons. You can see that the colors are almost identical. I do have a marker example I can show you. You want to get the colors as close as you can. So this is a smaller version. Crayons, color pencils, and markers. Okay, so you want to get the colors as close as you can. If you don't have colors, then label your colors or do it digitally if you have access to that. Did y'all receive the picture that I sent into the chat? I hope so. So I'm going to do 4 layers of my color because you want for this to be the brightest intensity that you can. Okay? If you don't have yellow-green, then you make yellow-green. Sometimes yellow-green can also be called like lime. Well, so just try to get the color the best you can. Red violet can sometimes be called mulberry or magenta. Let's see, yellow orange could be called goldenrod. You know, red orange could be called crimson. There are lots of different names. Blue violet is indigo. Blue green is turquoise, teal, aqua. All of those work for that. Now, is everybody good with this? Because I want to show you this part so that we can finish this. This is due Monday, but it's opened until the 15th. Each one of these wedges, because we're dealing with intensity, and intensity is how bright or dull a color is. So if you can see these two examples here, this one is the brightest or the purest intensity. This one is a dull intensity because you can see it's more neutral. And then I just pulled another color for you to see. This would be the dullest. So do you see how it goes from bright to dull to the dullest? And it's important to know these intensities and the way that color works because that affects the mood of your artwork, but it also affects the placement of your images depending on in the composition. So if you look at this as a ratio, if you do 4 layers here of solid color, of just solid color, then if you want to make it a little duller or a little less intense, you do an equal ratio. So 2 parts color, 2 parts gray. And then in the middle, it should be gray. Does anybody remember why we put gray in the center of the color wheel? Anybody remember? This is that participation, right? Anybody can help while telling me why gray is the color in the center of the color wheel? Ben?
Because you get it when you combine all the other colors.
That's exactly right. When you mix all of the colors together equally, you get gray. If you mix more of one color than another, like if you mix more warm colors than cool colors, you might get more of like a brown or a green kind of brown. And if you mix more cool colors than warm colors, you might get more of like a black color. But it's important because it shows you, one, your colors can get duller by adding that neutral, but also if you add your complement, because see how these 2 colors go through the gray? That means if they're mixed together, they create gray. And this is a finished example. You want to have your true brightest color, your duller color, and then your dullest right there in the center. So what I do for time, I do, you know, my 4 layers or multiple layers of the gray. Then I just do a layer of gray here in the center. And then I can do my brightest intensity here, and I can color like 2 layers of my yellow over my gray right there. It saves time. If you are doing this digitally, then you can change it to where you have a layer here of gray, like a 50%. If you can change how transparent your image, your color is, like a 50% transparency over. Or you can change both of these colors to 50% here and it will get that color. Or you can print it out and color pencil over it. Whatever works. But this is our main goal, is getting those bright to dull colors. Right? If you notice, Does anybody have any questions? It's gotten really quiet. I see some people that are working, just the few that have their tablets on. I just want to make sure, was everybody still here? Raise your hand if you're still here, or type yes or in the thing. Yes, Elizabeth, I just saw your message. It does dull out the color. That's the point of it. And I'm going to show you an example in just a second. So raise your hand or type I'm here in chat, just making sure. Notice the intermediate color, good. Good. Always has the primary first. Remember, see how this says yellow, green, and this one says green, yellow. Do you see how they're different colors? That's because they start with the first color and then they add the second color in. So this one, they started with yellow and added green. That's why it's that color. And for this one, they started with green and then they added the yellow, and that's why it's lighter. So that's why you will get a similar color, you know, a color that should be the same, but it's not, because the whatever color's listed first is what they use. Now, while y'all were working on this, I'm going to show you some examples of why, I'm going to show you some paint examples of why, you know, we want for this to keep, why we need to learn this and why we want this to keep happening. So pigment in its truest form and its most intense or brightest intensity should be the most pure. So if I have yellow here, this is Crayola tempera paint. This is Crayola poster paint in yellow. And you can see that it looks just like yellow. Right? I mean, it's recognizable. It's yellow. This is tempera paint. But now, this, I think these are what? Like 75 cents, 50 cents, maybe $1, depending on which store you go to. This is called yellow. Now this is called bright yellow. Do you see how the intensity has changed and it's become a little brighter, right? So you're getting that pure pigment. Tempera paint, one of the reasons why it's a little bit more dull is because they add water to it, and sometimes they add dish detergent to it. That's what makes it washable. So that's why these two yellows look different. Then we get to a little bit nicer paint. Right. And the name changes from just yellow to primary yellow. Do you see the difference in the intensity here? Do you see how that's starting to change? I hope so. Yeah. And this is why you learn how the colors are affected, how the intensity, so if you want a true bright yellow, right, it affects the mood or the emotion in your work. This is starting to get into a much nicer paint. This is the, they call it the beginner's line or the student line, but I think it's nicer than that. And notice how the name changes from just primary yellow or yellow to cadmium yellow, medium hue. Do you see how this is changing now? This is getting more intense with your colors. And then you have the professional, and you can see cadmium yellow, medium hue, brilliant. So that's why it's important to know your intensities and to know your products. Because look at the difference. Yellow, cadmium yellow, medium hue. You can also tell they make yellow with cadmium. That's the chemical, the compound, you know, that they use, the mineral for that paint, right? So, it's gotten really, really quiet. Why would this be important in art, to know the intensity of a color? I think I've already said that, but just to be sure. Why is it important to know this? Why am I teaching the color wheel again to you? Granted, we're doing it a little differently. But why? Are we still here? All right, let me ask in another way. Let's say that you have drawn a composition, you've drawn an image, and you have something that's in the background, but you want to bring it forward. Then what you would do is make sure that your color is brighter, and that will bring that image forward. Let's say you have something that's in the foreground, but you want to take it further back to the background, then you would make it duller. And that's why we learn how the colors combine together. And oh my gosh, no one told me I put yellow green and a yellow orange spot. Did anybody pick up on that? Nobody told me. Oops.
Do you use duller colors for shading?
So, yes. And you use duller colors for shading. Yes, you're exactly right for showing that value. That's true. You can also use, if you're painting or doing oil pastel, and you want something to look dark, but not to show that value, to show that shading, but you don't want to add black. This shows you that you can add the complements to it. And you will get that dull intensity. It makes your colors richer and brighter without dulling them out. I cannot believe I put yellow green and the yellow orange thing. Nobody noticed that? Okay. Oh. Sorry. Well, I put yellow orange in the right spot, but I colored yellow green on the wrong one. I'm sorry about that. So this assignment has been shared with you already. It was available at 8 o'clock yesterday morning, I believe, or this morning. But it is opened, and I checked that right before class to be sure, and it's there. So that you can take a picture of your color wheel and submit it. Remember, I am looking to make sure that you got the colors as close as you could, that they go from bright to dull, and that they're in the correct order. Right? Yes, Gracie. I know. I'm not really embarrassed by it. I can't believe it. Sorry about that. That's what happens when you talk while you're doing your art. You should be focused. So if you do not have any questions, let's see who I have heard from. I need to hear from Zainab, Landon, Joseph, just to know that you are good. You can say hi, you can raise your hand. And once I see that, I will give y'all credits and you may go. Same thing with Braden. Yeah. So Landon, Elizabeth, Joseph, thank you. Y'all may go submit your color wheel and have a wonderful afternoon. You will need the same materials for next class. Let's see. I need to hear from Luke, Amani, Jackson. Bye. Lydia, I've heard from Grace. I've heard from Aruba. Aiden, Caroline, and Cameron. Okay, good, Landon. You're good. Bye. Bye, Landon. Bye, Elizabeth. Hi. All right, Jackson. You are good, so goodbye. Have a good afternoon. Good, Caroline. You're good. You can have a great afternoon. I'm so glad that I get to have art with you again. Ben, that's perfect. That looks fantastic. Lydia?